joining us today. My name's Jim Lindsay. I am on the employee relations team here at Southern New Hampshire University, and we're excited that you're here to join us for the Federal Bureau of Investigation aspect of the .gov career event. So thanks for joining us. And we do have a lot of folks here in the room tonight, so we're going to encourage you. Microphones and cameras will be off, so feel free to put your questions directly in the chat box, and representatives here from the FBI will try to address all of them. Accessibility statement here. It's important to us at Southern New Hampshire University that you are able to access these types of webinars and seminars. Individuals with accessibility needs or requirements for accommodations may reach out to the online students can reach out to oac@snhu.edu or call 866-305-9430. Campus students reach out to cac@snhu.edu or call 603-644-3118. Any staff and faculty reach out to hr@snhu.edu. Any folks that are here from any other colleges or universities, excuse me, feel free to reach out to me directly at j.lindsay@snhu.edu. And if you have a request for live captioning or ASL interpretation requires at least 3 weeks advance notice. So thanks again for joining us. I'm going to throw it on over to my friends and colleagues over at the FBI. So go right ahead.
Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, I should say. My name is Vance Cromwick. I am the Supervisory Administrative Specialist over the Human Resources Department here in the Boston Field Office of the FBI. With me today, I have my Administrative Officer, Denise Taste.
Good afternoon.
So normally we jump into a little bit of a background on kind of us and what our careers have looked like. However, I'm already seeing a ton of questions flood in. So I think that what we'll do in an attempt to try to hit as many as we can is just jump into answering them right now. And then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, perfect. Right off the bat, I have a pacemaker and was told, yeah, there's no people that are going through the process to apply for a position with the FBI, you're able to file for a reasonable accommodation. So they have ways of administering polygraphs that are will take into account any type of a medical condition that you may have. So that would not prohibit you from working for the FBI.
Data analytics went back up.
It wasn't just doing introduction.
Oh, I see.
So in terms of jobs with remote potential, as I unfortunately talked with the last group on, because of the nature of what we do with the FBI, there is no, there's really no remote or telework that's available. All of the positions have to be in an office in some way, shape, or form.
However, I will say this caveat. Right now, Washington, D.C., of course, they are doing some transition. And some of that transition is they are allowing their folks to work out of offices that are close to home because of space purposes. But again, those are certain positions. And right now, Washington, D.C. is testing that. So if you're interested in remote, you would probably have to apply for somewhere in D.C. because now they are, when they post, they either go, you can work in DC or in your current field office, but you have to be an on-board employee at that point to get that offer.
And then just in terms of, because I see a lot of people that are putting their degree and background into the chat. So we have I tell people to look at the FBI the way they would look at a private sector company. Not only do we have special agents and intel analysts, the people that you would see on Criminal Minds or Quantico or any of those FBI-based TV shows or movies, we also have a large portion of our workforce that are in administrative support roles. We have a human resources unit, we have a facilities unit, we have a property management unit, an inventory unit, a security, a legal department, a public relations unit. We utilize folks with, degrees from a wide background, from communication degrees to psychology, criminal justice. We've got, biologists that have walked in the door here. So there's really no or very few jobs that are degree specific. The degree specific positions are going to be the jobs that are really tech heavy. So our IT specialists, our electronic technicians, forensic accountants, jobs that require you to come in the door with a very specific knowledge set. Those are the jobs that are going to require a specific degree.
You know, like our data analysts, those type of positions. So anything that's technical or strategic, we'll definitely do that.
Major difference between the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA. It's going to be the mission. I can't speak to the CIA and the NSA. You know, the FBI's mission is to protect the American populace and uphold the Constitution. So
now with us, the difference is we do have international operations. So we are stationed overseas, but the CIA pretty much has that populace. Their work is more outside of the United States, where we're more domestic, but yet we still have a staple internationally as well. And of course, NSA, I can't talk on them because I know the name, but I don't know exactly what they do.
In terms of internship programs, I saw a couple of questions about internships. So the way that we handle internships is that posting will go live on FBIjobs.gov in the early fall. I would highly suggest bookmarking that site and checking that frequently to look for available positions. When the internship goes up, it will be for the summer of 2026, and you have to be returning to school in the fall following the internship to be eligible for it. So essentially, you would need to be a freshman, sophomore, or junior. It is a highly competitive position. We have hundreds of applications every year, and we're only able to take a handful. However, that is not to deter you from applying, because there are a litany of other positions that are available and other opportunities.
And then HR Vance does a good job. If he sees a potential intern, he will forward it to another field office to maybe which you want to work at. That way, because you never know, they may be struggling to fill their interns where we have a plethora of intern applications. So field offices do a really good job of transferring just in case for opportunity as well.
For anyone interested in a career with the FBI, the first step is always going to be to check out the FBIjobs.gov site. All of our available vacancies are going to be posted on there. Additionally, though, I am going to throw an email address in the chat at the end of this. It is a box that's monitored by myself and my people here in Boston. And we're more than happy to, if you want to reach out with any questions that you may have, or if you're, interested in a career, we can talk about, resume review, anything that we can do to help kind of get you started. In terms of this computer science major, if you're a computer science major, you'll see there are a number of opportunities that are available to you with the FBI. Anything from an IT specialist to an information security systems officer, a computer scientist. All of those positions are going to be posted on FBIjobs.gov.
And we are looking for IT specialists. So if you are interested, make sure you send your resume to that mailbox when he posts it on the chat.
Anything besides the basics that make a candidate stand out? Absolutely. So I tell folks, when you apply for a job with the FBI, it's kind of the opposite of the private sector. We want to see more. So your resume should be 3, 4, 5, 6 pages and be very detailed. Your resume, when we review them, that's really kind of like your first interview. And so the more info that we can get from your resume, the better it's going to serve you. You want to make sure you specifically highlight any opportunity where you've been provided to demonstrate leadership ability. And that can be anything from, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts,
church,
marching band, church,
because
a
you
job.
lead different things, a job you had before. But definitely, like you said, leadership is one of the core competencies that we're looking for on the interview side of the house, because we are definitely looking for those leaders. We're looking to move the Bureau forward, because those leaders that are here now are not going to be here tomorrow. So we definitely want to be able to get those leaders in, develop you, mentor you, and see you be successful as you rise in the ranks with the FBI.
In terms of age limits on employment, the only position that has any type of an age limit is the special agent role. They have a cutoff on how old they have to be to apply, or how, and then a limit on how old they can be to apply, as well as they have a mandatory retirement age.
Now, the only difference is if it's, say, a Secret Service person got hired as an FBI agent because he was already sworn from another federal agency, we cap at 38, where he can come in 2 years past that 40. But definitely agents have to work 20 years at 57 to be able to retire out. Whereas professional support, I laugh, we can die out. So we don't have an age restriction on our end. And most professional support that come in, they love working for the Bureau. So they serve minimum would be 20-something years. Maximum, i.e. like myself, I'll be celebrating 38 years next month. So longevity does and retention happens definitely with the Bureau.
Again, I saw another question regarding what type of jobs you'd apply for with a specific degree. I just want to stress again that unless it is a tech-heavy degree or a tech-heavy position, there's no specific requirement. In my role as a supervisor, I have a degree in criminal justice and psychology. However, I have one counterpart that has a degree in, I think, in biology, and one counterpart that has a high school diploma. So on the support side, we're a lot more flexible with what we're looking for in terms of what you need to have to apply. It's not the same level of strictness.
Now, the only thing that weighs that out is definitely there's no degree requirements for some leadership positions, i.e. like Vance's or mine. However, the interview process is where the questions bring out your leadership skills. I.e. like I have my master's in business administration, but it's not necessary for my role as an administrative officer within the FBI.
Does the crisis negotiator have any specific requirements? No, you can get into a crisis negotiator position. We will teach you the necessary skills, and they will train you. That's actually a position that you can do as a collateral within the FBI. So a lot of folks even on the admin side of the house are involved with the crisis negotiation team. And
that's recently new, where professional support can be crisis negotiators, because before it was a collateral for just special agents, but they opened that up, I would say fairly shy of 3 to 4 years ago, where you started to see them offering professional support that opportunity to work along with negotiation and actually do negotiation, which is pretty exciting.
The question here about people who are looking to investigate CSAM or violent crimes against children. So in terms of what positions would be available, our crimes against children squad it's an entire squad. So they have support roles like our operations support technician. They have staff operations specialists. They have intel analysts, special agents, and then they have computer scientists. So you can be in a litany of roles and still be someone that's investigating that violation. Are there software engineering? So there are engineering and development positions that would not require experience outside of college to apply for. I will tell you up front that those positions are going to be located either down in Quantico at one of the labs, or they're going to be located down in headquarters.
And we can also add Huntsville, Alabama to that list now, because they are in the process. We have a footprint there. And I know that the cyber side, they're building a whole building just for cyber technology, et cetera. So positions will be afforded in Huntsville. I would just say, like Vance said, www.fbi.gov, bookmark that and just check back periodically or when it just crosses your mind to see what's out there in the various different offices that we have.
I think we've touched on the fact that there are a large number of entry-level positions available, including some that only require a high school diploma. If you have more questions about those jobs, feel free to either drop it in the chat, or I'll put my email address in at the end of this.
Yes, you need a clearance to work with the FBI.
Yes, 100%. And I will speak quickly to the background process because we haven't covered that with this session yet. So all of anyone coming to work for us, from all the way from an intern up to the director himself, have to be able to obtain the same security clearance. So that means that we're all going through the same background process. That process is very much in depth. It will include a personal security interview, a polygraph, a drug testing, and a fingerprinting. They're going to go out and knock on neighbors' doors, talk to co-workers, talk to previous employers, talk to professors from high school, college. So they're going to do their due diligence. The other part that I want to caveat in there is to talk quickly on the drug policy. This is one of our biggest disqualifiers. The drug policy is 10 years for any illegal substance, and to include the misuse or abuse of prescription drugs. And that's a hard and fast 10-year window. There's no wiggle room on that. So if you've utilized any type of illegal narcotic or misused a prescription drug, you want to make sure that you're clear of that 10-year window before you apply for a job with the FBI. The only difference or the only exception to that rule is the marijuana usage, which is capped at 1 year. So as long as you have been clean for the 1 year preceding the moment you apply, you are able to proceed even if you've used marijuana in the past.
And
Vance,
also,
real quick, does that pertain to medicinal marijuana as well?
Yep.
yes.
Any form of marijuana or CBD. Unfortunately, because it's not legal at a federal level, you can't have used it in the last year. Thank you.
And also your finances need to be in order. You can't have written any bad checks, been late with your taxes. We definitely look at that. I'm sorry to say we have had employee or applicants did things in their youthful years as teenagers. And unfortunately, sometimes they get disqualified from our security division based on that, because if it was a felony, then definitely we will not hire you. But they definitely delve way back in your youth. So I'm just saying, please make sure that you don't involve yourself in anything that might disqualify you from being successful, especially if you want to work for the FBI.
We do have jobs in both media, or I'm going to call it media and communications.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an entire unit that is our oh my goodness, public affairs specialist. And so those are our folks that deal with obviously liaisoning between the FBI office and the media. We also have a community outreach group that is out in the community as such, and kind of pushing the FBI message and kind of liaisoning with community leaders. And then we also have a new position that we're bringing into the division that is called the multimedia specialist. And that's going to be a job that is going to focus highly on kind of the social media presence and kind of marketing the FBI in that manner and recruiting through there. I think we've talked about viewing open positions. Those are going to be found through FBIjobs.gov. Internships, I feel like we've talked about. In terms of financial degrees, if your background is in finance, obviously one option would be a forensic accountant, but that is not necessarily the only option. There are other degrees that they would utilize a finance background in, especially if you're willing to relocate. That's one of the things to keep in mind too, is that there may be a smaller number of positions that are available here in Boston. However, if you're open to the idea of relocating, especially if you're willing to go down to headquarters or Quantico or out to Huntsville, there's a much wider span of positions available there just because of the nature of the work that they do there.
Our victim specialists, they are phenomenal. They support our cases, all cases, because at any given time, we're going to have victims in those areas, and they are there from the time of the incident, even past, once the trial is over. They are there with those individuals, providing them with assistance that they need. They provide them with the services that they need. They refer them to services. So the FBI has a very, very robust victim specialist program. I know that you have to have like a medical degree. You can be a former nurse and qualified for it or worked in the medical field to some degree. You cannot, most apply from the outside in for that position. And once you get in, you will love it. They respond to any national disasters that we had recently here in Boston, Lewiston, Maine. Most of you may have known that through the news. I tell you what, that unit deployed out. It must have been like 25 to 30 of them, and they were out there with the people. And it was just so wonderful to see. And they did not leave until it was time for them to leave. So if you do qualify for that, definitely go to www.fbijobs.gov, and that's where they post that particular position.
The only caveat I will add about our victim services folks is that they have to apply, you have to have previous experience in that field. So what I tell people that are interested in that role is that it's generally a good idea to go work for either town, county, city, or state in a victim services role, and then apply to come onto the FBI. There are FBI offices all over the U.S. There are 56 of them.
Well, about to be 55.
That's true. East Coast, West Coast, center of the country, you name it, we're there. Every position does not require a physical exam. The special agents position requires a physical fitness test. And then in addition to that, there are a handful of positions such as our electronics technicians that require a fitness for duty physical, just to make sure that they're able to, move and pick things up and be able to complete all of the tasks required for the job.
Now, even though we don't require a physical fitness exam, depending on your position, the Bureau does promote wellness, and they promote being healthy, because right now you can't do your job if you're not well. So we have a very good wellness program, and even today they're starting to get out information about physical fitness, what that looks like, just because they want the employees to be better, healthy employees, and to live in order to do their jobs. Chad, he's going to put the website at the end. Now, which website? Is it the Boston?
So I'll put
or the www.jobs.gov.
So I'll put the email address in the chat. The website itself is www.fbijobs.gov.
Yes, we have a great diversity, equity, and inclusion accessibility program. So yes, we do hire individuals with disabilities. The Bureau has a great program that's very supportive of that. So most definitely, we'd love to have you on board if you're interested.
HR is going to be housed in each field office and headquarters unit. So it's not just Boston. We have our own HR unit here in Boston, but New York City has a similar setup unit, as does LA and Las Vegas and every other office you want to go to.
The only difference is you may interview here, but your processing will be done through Washington. So once Vance and his team do the local, meaning the career boards, or even just meet and greet with you, then that packet is sent up to Washington, where the official offer is sent out, and you deal at that level with them. And Vance does a great job of even touching back and making sure how the process is going.
In terms of contacting HR in other states, so the best way to do that is going to be just to Google the FBI office for the state that you're located in. They're going to have a contact page on there, and you'll be able to speak to someone in HR through them.
And I do believe if you're on the FBIJobs.gov site, they may have a number, or you can either link to the main website, which is the FBI.gov site, and on there they have what's called field offices. You click on that, and you just click where you need to go, and it'll bring you right up.
In terms of experience as a junior ROTC officer, absolutely, that's exactly the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. That's what you want to be highlighting on your resume.
What about GIS? What is GIS, Brandy?
Government Information Specialist.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, so that's going to be that would definitely
I think
that's a background that we can utilize for sure. No, in terms of cover letters, we're not super interested in them. It's really more about the resume. When you get onto that FBI job site, you're going to go create a profile and upload your resume. That's what we're really going to be looking at. So that's what we're more interested in.
Thank you for the good feedback. We're glad that you're finding this interesting. Definitely, we're going through some processes with HR, which will be a lot more recruitment. So I'm glad that there's some good feedback here.
Scrolling.
What are qualifications on mental health? Monica, can you be more specific with that question? If you can unmute yourself. And that's
Let me find Monica and I can unmute her.
In the interim, we don't offer tuition reimbursement per se. There is a student loan repayment program that you're eligible to apply for as an FBI employee. In addition, there is a process through which you can go through to apply to go to school on the Bureau's dime. Both of those are very, very competitive though, but they do exist.
yeah, and they're both offered once a year. We just went through the process for the student loan repayment program. That's usually done in the spring. And then what he's referring to as a university education program, that is done more in the fall. And that program, you just have to keep a certain GPA average and you can get pretty much a degree on the Bureau. Now, you do have to sign a retention thereafter. So like anything, the Bureau is going to pay for the degree. They're going to probably have you sign a 3-year conditional thereafter just to make sure. But definitely it's well worth it if you get a degree out of it.
Rhonda, you do not need any prior experience for a position with the FBI police. You just need to understand that those positions are located in only a handful of offices. New York City, Los Angeles,
DC.
headquarters
Yeah.
come to mind, Quantico, Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, I think Huntsville, yeah.
Yep. Isaiah, GS level for active duty veterans, that's going to be based on solely on the position that you are applying for and selected for.
Denise, do you have Monica's? Did you notice what her last name was by any chance?
Oh,
It was
I'm not
Anderson.
seeing her.
Anderson.
Was it Anderson?
Yes.
Monica, you should be able to come off mute now. Yep.
Hi, thank you so much. My question about mental health, meaning projects, everything like that, having, any mental health history, depression and anxiety and things like that, do they
No, not at all.
affect?
Nope.
What about the post-traumatic stress disorder?
No, not at all.
So the
Okay.
biggest thing is they will ask questions about that during your security interview and potentially again during your polygraph. However, you just need to
Have
be
documentation
forthcoming
from the
and
doctor and everything,
correct,
right.
provide any follow-up that they
Okay.
make.
And if you're on medication, that's fine because that's medically driven. So that's good too. So no, but that does not preclude you from applying to the FBI.
Thank you, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No one.
Hey. Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, listen, everybody, thank you. It's 5 o'clock now, so I want to thank you all for coming on out tonight to hear more about opportunities and requirements for potential employment with the FBI. And a big thank you to Denise and Vance for joining us tonight. So that's much appreciated. And folks, this recording will be posted up on the SNHU YouTube channel. Hopefully we'll have it up before, at least by the end of the week. So you can take a look there. And again, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat again at this time. I am going to take those questions and put them in a format so I can give them over to Vance so he can take a look at them.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on. We appreciate it. We wish you a great evening.
Thank you all.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye, James.
Bye-bye.